Coming up on KUJH News, there are some new faces on the Lawrence City Commission and School Board. We have your election results. Voters also gave the thumbs up to changing the look of the Kansas City Airport. And this house shows what a little determination and millions of Legos can build. KUJH starts now.
From the University of Kansas, you're watching KUJH News.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to KUJH News. I'm Dan Garrett, and Grant Stevens is having a day off today, so it'll be just me tonight. Well, the people of Lawrence have spoken. Lawrence voters have created what may be the first female majority city commission in its history. Our own Caroline Burkhardt has been poring over the totals. She joins us live from the newsroom. So Caroline, what changes are we going to see in Lawrence and Douglas County?
Dan, you are right. This election was big. Lisa Larson and Jennifer Ananda got the top votes for Lawrence City Commission. First time we've had two females at the top of the votes. That doubled the 2016 election was Leslie Soden, who was the only woman who ran for commission. This year, two ran and won the confidence in Lawrence. Larson and Herbert were re-elected, while Ananda will replace Mike Amix, who did not seek re-election. This year, two ran and won the confidence in Lawrence. Larson and Herbert were re-elected, while Ananda will replace Mike Amix, who did not seek re-election. Lawrence City Commission had Larson at more than 8,000 votes, with Ananda and Matthew Herbert not far behind, averaging 6,000 votes. Baldwin City had current Mayor Marilyn Pierce run against Casey A. Simona. In a close vote, Simona took the seat from Pierce as a new mayor. This election had Eudora City Commission ending neck to neck. Tim Reason had reason to think he might win, but with 9 more votes, Jolene M. Bourne came out the winner. As far as taxes go, Douglas County has 3 questions to vote on: transit, affordable housing, and infrastructure sales tax. They are all expected to be renewed for the new year. Lecompton City Council also had an incredible close race, with Tim J. McNish winning by 8 votes. Reporting live in the newsroom, I'm Caroline Burkhardt.
Well, thank you, Caroline. We are looking forward to seeing how those changes play out in the upcoming year. There will be more money available to help with low-income housing now that Lawrence voters to earn back sales tax money for affordable housing. That money could be used to build affordable neighborhoods like this one in Edgewood Street, or help citizens pay the rent elsewhere. The City Housing Authority says over 400 families receive financial support, and another 200 are on a waiting list. The earmarked money will go into a general fund that can be allocated to the city's commission's discretion. Supporters of the initiative say these new funds are necessary because federal funds have dried up. The city says over 30% of renters in Lawrence spend over half their income on housing. Well, Shane, we've had kind of like a repetitive weather for the past 2 days. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, I can, and it's just a 24-hour temperature difference. Like, the temperatures are not changing that much from day to day. As you can see here in the Kansas City area and Lawrence area where we are, in the white temperatures, there's not really that much of a temperature change as compared to the Pacific Northwest, where they have warmed up over the last 24 hours, and the southern part of the country. They have cooled down over the 24 hours. Now, if we look at our outside community temperatures right now, you can really see that all of these are mainly in the 50s. Lawrence, we're here at 51 degrees. Manhattan is at 53. Council Grove and Emporia are down at 52 degrees. And Kansas City is down to 49 degrees. If we take at our right now temperatures for the city only, we're at 50 degrees and mostly sunny skies with a light north wind at 5 miles an hour. That is for most of the area. And if we take a look at our almanac right now, it'll show that we are well below average. We're at 51 for the high today, and 59 is our average high. And the same thing goes for our low temperature, about 13 degrees below average this morning. Now, coming up, I will have more about our next chance of rain, and will our average temps keep continuing to be below, or will we warm up at all? Dan?
Thank you, Shane. Housing, or the lack thereof, is a real concern for the homeless as the weather turns colder. KUJH reporter Ellis Wiltsey has the story.
The Christmas lights are up on Mass Street, but for Lawrence's steadily increasing homeless population, the holidays are not so jolly. From 2013 to 2015, Douglas County saw over a 50% increase in homeless adults and a 10% increase in homeless children. Lawrence boasts some of the state's most lax ordinances in regards to the homeless, last altered almost 10 years ago. A study conducted by the university found a vast majority of Lawrence's homeless were not actually from Lawrence, instead coming to seek employment or to be with family and friends. The Lawrence Community Shelter is open 24/7 and can accommodate up to 125 individuals at a time. They are always looking for donations of items on this list. Reporting in Lawrence, Ellis Wiltsey, KUJH News.
The Lawrence Community Shelter is one place the homeless can turn to. Next week, Ellis will give us a closer look at the shelter and all that they do. Well, a Lawrence woman with a disabled daughter is getting handicap parking in front of her own house. Charlie Rockhold's daughter, Sydney, has trouble walking long distances. They live on the corner of 19th and Angelica Road, with others constantly blocking access. Rockhold asked the Transportation Commission for 2 handicap spots outside of her house.
The reason I think we need 2 is because I'm not the only handicapped person in the area. My daughter's handicapped, but there's also a neighbor across the street that is also handicapped. And the street is very limited on parking.
Rockhold got half of her wish. The Transportation Commission made a recommendation for 1 handicap spot to the City Commission. They'll consider it sometime before the end of the month. Well, the Kansas State University Black Student Union wants Riley County to file criminal charges against Dontarius Williams. He's the man who covered his own car in racist graffiti over the weekend. 21-year-old Williams says he just let a Halloween prank get out of control. Riley County Police seemed to agree when they released a statement saying they wouldn't charge Williams with filing a false report. The Black Student Union has posted a Facebook message saying it was appalled, disgusted, and hurt by the failure to charge him. The group says the fact that Williams is black doesn't give him a pass. According to a 2016 survey, 54% of undergraduate students at KU identify as food insecure. Just Food is working to change this by hitting the road and bringing free food directly to students. Just Food's food pantry, in conjunction with the Center for Community Outreach, is bringing a mobile food pantry to KU. The pantry will come to campus the first Monday of every month from 1 to 3 in Lot 65, west of Memorial Stadium. The mobile pantry debuted this past Monday and ran out of food in just 1 hour. Just Food says they are surprised by the turnout and hope easier access brings more students out in the future.
Here in our facility, we have, our numbers of the students that we reach are a little bit lower, which is one of the reasons that we moved to KU's campus for this specific project. And we've seen a lot of students come out to mobile pantry because it's within walking distance.
The mobile food pantry will be back at KU on December 4th starting at 1 p.m. Well, still to come on KUJH News, get ready for a new look at the Kansas City airport now that voters have had their say. But does your driver's license say Missouri on the top? The day's coming that you may not get into that upgraded airport with Missouri's ID alone. We'll explain when KUJH returns. Well, after years of debate, Kansas City will be getting an improved new airport now that Kansas City voted yes to a single terminal airport. These designs show a sleek glass look with new restaurants and shopping facilities past the security checkpoint. The renovations will end up costing around $1 billion. KCI is the closest major airport for many KU students flying in and out of Kansas, and some say that they feel the current airport isn't convenient enough.
Airport is the first thing that a lot of people see when they come to Kansas City, and it just doesn't give a very good impression of our city or the people that are here. It's very dull and boring, and that's not at all what I think we should be conveying to our visitors.
KCI says they'll finish their financial plan with the contractor later this month. Construction should start next year and wrap up by 2021. Missourians who want to use the updated airport won't be able to get past TSA security checkpoints after January unless they use a passport. Like this sign says, TSA agents will not accept Missouri state-issued IDs after January 22nd. It'll take a passport for Missourians to fly after that date. The Real ID Act creates security standards to make sure that the cardholder is actually the person they say they are. These new standards help prevent counterfeit IDs. Missouri lawmakers cited privacy on the reason they've yet to comply. They recently passed a law to give show-me staters the option of trading in their older IDs for new ones with the new holographs and machine-readable technology. Missouri has requested an extension for their older IDs, but so far the Department of Homeland Security hasn't made a decision. Well, Shane, this morning it was like 22 degrees and it's warmed up to about 46. Can you tell us how the weather's going to be the rest of the week?
It is just going to be the same. I hate to tell you, it's not going to change a whole lot. And that is because we are under a region of high pressure. It's parked over central Kansas right now, but going later tonight and into tomorrow, this will move off into Missouri and continue to move off over the northeast ahead of our next system coming up later. Tonight, it is going to drop down to a bone-chilling 31 degrees, not nearly as bad as it was last night, but I would still expect some frost on your car, so make sure you leave a couple extra minutes before you leave for work tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be up to 50 degrees. We're going to have some increasing moisture coming in. That's going to lead to some scattered clouds. Overall, I still think it's going to be a mostly sunny day with northwest winds at about 5 to 10 miles an hour. Now, if we take you out the door tomorrow morning, we're going to start out at 30 degrees at 7 o'clock and warm up to 41 at 10 a.m. before we warm up to about 50 about the 2 or 3 o'clock hour. And at 4 o'clock, we're going to be at 46, and we're going to gradually start to decline our temperatures as it will begin to be dark by 7 o'clock. Now, this is going to affect our next weather pattern. Actually, our weather pattern is affecting by this because what we would call a zonal flow, where our upper level winds are basically just blowing straight from the west to the eastern half of the country. Now, this is not very conducive to a whole lot of big temperature changes, a whole lot of moisture or anything like that. It's a very benign pattern. That's why we just heat up to the 50s and we drop down into the 30s at night. But this pattern will give us our next little chance of rain as we have a little piece of energy moving in on Saturday night. As you can see, these smooth black lines here are not so smooth. That's called a little disturbance when that happens. It's a little pressure difference. But this is vorticity. Now, this is just an enhanced area of lift in the atmosphere. Right now, it is sitting in southern Nebraska, but if it moves down to our area, we can see an increasing chance of rain. Not by a whole lot. There's not a whole lot of moisture to work with this system, but it'll be better than none. Now, if we look at our 5-day forecast, you can see Thursday is going to be about 50 degrees. And Friday, we're going to cloud up a little bit more, and then that chance of rain on Saturday and early Sunday morning ahead of our next cold front on Monday. That'll drop the temperatures down to about 49 degrees. Guys, back to you.
Well, coming up in sports, Kansas basketball ended their exhibition campaign with a win last night, but we'll tell you why they aren't very pleased. That's next. Welcome to sports. Kansas men's basketball finished up its exhibition season last night with an 86-57 victory over Fort Hays State. Devontae Graham had himself a night with 27 points, going 8 for 12 from the field and 6 for 10 from three-point range. Despite the win, the Jayhawks had some flaws exposed. One of them was rebounding, as Fort Hays State came in with only 2 players as tall as 6'6", and with the height advantage, KU only out-rebounded Fort Hays State by 2 in the first half. The Jayhawks did not have a single player crack double digits in rebounding for the night. It was also an off night for Svi Mikhailuk. He struggled from three-point range, shooting 0 for 7 and finished the night with just 8 points. After the game, Coach Self was not too pleased with the team's performance, highlighting a lack of energy from his group. The Jayhawks opened the regular season on Friday night at home against Tennessee State. A quick tune-up before a trip to Chicago on Tuesday, the Champions Classic against Kentucky. At this time a year ago, Kansas football pulled off the upset of the century, knocking off powerhouse Texas in an overtime thriller. In this year's 1-8 start, the Jayhawks have scored a combined 29 points in the last 4 games. Head coach David Beatty says this week's rematch against Texas is important for his team to prove that last year's win was not a fluke.
But from our standpoint, it's an opportunity to see if that was real. I mean, you do it once, how about we do it twice, you know? So I think that's the approach as I hear our guys talking, Joe Deneen's and the Daniel Wises, is, hey, you know, you want to prove something, you got to go do it more than one time. And we got to go out there and take that opportunity. We get to go right down there in their backyard and do it.
KU is a 34-point underdog against UT. They'll take on the Longhorns this Saturday at 5 p.m. from Darrell K. Royal Stadium in Austin. 11th-ranked Kansas volleyball returns to Georgia tonight for a 2-game homestand. It begins with the Sunflower Showdown against K-State. The Jayhawks have won 10 out of their last 11 matches against K-State, including 6 straight victories. The Jayhawks enter tonight's matchup on an 11-game winning streak. Tonight's matchup with K-State is set for 6:30 p.m. from Georgia. UCLA's LiAngelo Ball is out on bail. He and 2 other teammates were arrested for shoplifting in Shanghai, China on Tuesday. LiAngelo is the younger brother of Lakers rookie Lonzo Ball. Their father, LeVar Ball, downplayed the situation.
You'll be fine. You'll be fine. Everybody making it a big deal. It ain't that big a deal.
And guys, that is your sports. That Ball family, they never disappoint.
No, and it seems like we have like a pretty interesting basketball season coming up this year.
For sure. It's going to be exciting, this team. I'm looking forward to Friday night against Tennessee State.
I'm looking forward to this upcoming season as well.
That's awesome. Well, it's fun to play with Legos, but when it comes to this new house, nobody is messing around. The Lego company commissioned this life-size home in Denmark, and yes, it's 100% Legos, more than 25 million of them. They're even having a contest to win an overnight stay. You have to put together a stop-action video showing why you should be the one to go. The maker of the one Lego decides who has the most creative video to win. Entry details are on the company's website. And that's all the time we have for KUJH today.
To see our stories again or share them with your friends, check out our website at tv.ku.edu.
Our entertainment friends will be with us here at Friday with the Next.
Thanks.